the part nobody ever talks about. It's still cold. Don't let the water dripping off the icicles fool you. It is 27 degrees, I think. I still got a bunch of snow on the shop because I haven't fired up the heat at all in 3 weeks. Yeah, fun stuff. The thing that I hate about this is that the car is covered with it too. So that means the whole time I'm underneath of it, I'm going to be getting soaked. Still sick of all this. Look at this. I'm trying to bury the sides of the garage. Not cool. A few things going on that we don't usually do here. Like I was saying, we've got some things that we don't usually do here. I'm going to be working on the wife's car, and I'm going to be working on my truck a little bit also. Before we get to working on anything, I got new parts. They're not all for the Chevette. I've got some parts for the wife's car, which is what I'm working on for the best part. However, while these parts don't cross over as far as part numbers, you'll see in the future where these are going to come in handy. I will be providing a link, or at least the seller's name, whatever, to these brakes. I've got these same brakes on my truck, and they're amazing, especially when you consider how cheap they are. So let's see what's going on. So like I was saying, I've got some parts here. The first ones here, these are going to be for the wife's car. She has a 2014 Santa Fe Sport. That's the one that has the engines that just lock up whenever they want. So far, so good. So it's got 60,000 miles on it, I think. Something like that. It's a nice car, low miles. The brake pads are getting thin. I went to Advanced Auto, AutoZone, Napa, checked all of them, and for the cost of the pads, I could have some shipped directly to me from China and get rotors cheaper. I got, look at this, cross-drilled and slotted rotors, front and back, along with ceramic pads, front and back, and the little stupid slidey things, all four corners again. And on top of that, they gave us a bottle of brake fluid. I want to say I paid $175 for all this. Whatever it is, I'm sure I have it scrolling on the bottom of the screen, like right here, right about now. Like I said, I've used this stuff in the past. And you'll get people all over the internet that will say Ferraris don't have drilled rotors. Race cars don't have drilled rotors. Well, they're right. But there are things to consider. Race cars have a different compound of brake pad. If you use those brake pads on the streets, you'll probably crash and burn. They don't start working until you get them up to, I don't know, 11 billion degrees. You got to get them hot in order for them to work, and you don't get that kind of heat driving your car on the street. So you've got that variable. Another variable that you have is Ferraris have big brakes. This is not big. That's not that big either. When a Ferrari has a brake rotor that's like 16, 17 inches in diameter, it's already got a huge advantage. Some of the things they say online is true about the cross-drilled rotors. You are reducing braking surface area. That's true. For every one of these holes, that's 1 square centimeter that you don't have as far as braking surface anymore. That can reduce your braking. The slots, same thing. That's reduced surface. Another problem that you will have, you get these things hot, it will crack from hole to hole. Again, that's just fact. Another fact, you usually can't turn slotted and or drilled rotors. Again, you just can't do it. But when you get all this for less than $200, does it matter? I'm doing these because it was cheap. I'm doing these because it needed it. Now here's another fact. Back to the whole race car compound and large, big-ass disc brakes on exotics. My driver, a 2013 Ford F-150. We tow a travel trailer with it. When I got it, it had somewhat worn out, but stock original brakes. They worked great. I had no complaints. When it was time to change the brake pads, I think the originals lasted 120,000, 130,000 miles. They needed replaced. They were worn down pretty thin. So when I upgraded to the slotted and drilled and ceramic pads, same vendor, I'll assume the same China shop made them, I instantly noticed an improvement in braking. When I put the trailer on there, when I put the travel trailer on the back of the truck, I noticed a huge increase in braking power. 2 summers ago, spring actually, May, we went to Gatlinburg, Tennessee. The route from Columbus, Ohio to Gatlinburg, Tennessee includes mountain passes. We're not talking mountains like out west. We're not talking serious grades, but we are talking mountains. And when I was towing the travel trailer through the mountains, the thing stopped great. People will tell you that the reason for the slots and the holes is to get rid of the gas made from the adhesive that holds the pads together. Then you'll have people tell you that they don't use those adhesives anymore, therefore you don't need the slots. You don't need the holes. I don't know. I don't care. Here's what I know. My braking performance was better. I'm sold. Cheaper, better braking performance, ceramic pads. Where's the lose? All I see is win, win, win. Who cares? So that's what we're putting on the wife's car today. Now for the Chevette stuff. One of the Facebook pages that I've followed so I can do this engine swap properly has been a 3800 Fiero swap page. This is a very common swap in the Fieros. I went on there and I asked about radiators. I know Fiero radiators are a good swap for the Chevettes. Once you start getting into the small block engines and LSs and what have you, they fit in there great. And there's only a couple small mods you have to do to get them to fit in there. So, and it's also enough radiator to cool whatever you're putting in there, unless you're getting crazy. I found a radiator on eBay. This thing is pretty cool. I talked to a couple of the guys on the Fiero forum, on that 3800 Fiero forum, and they agreed that this is a nice radiator. A couple of them use it, have no problems with it. I'll include a link thing in one of the first comments. So anyways, what we got here, all aluminum tanks, both sides, came with a cap, okay? If you're running an automatic, it's got that. It has a drain cock down here, so you don't have to pull a hose just to drain it. It is a 3-row aluminum radiator, and some people won't know what I'm talking about. Usually people call it a 3-core. That's not a correct term. These are the tanks, and that's the core. Okay, it's 1 core. That's all you're going to have. What most people call a 3-core is actually a 3-row radiator. The cooling tubes that are inside here that go across, that all your coolant goes through, each one is a row. I might be able to show you here. You see the rows in there? There's 1, 2, and there's the 3rd row. That is not a 3-core, that is a 3-row radiator. Look at these TIG welds. Hold on. There we go. Got too much light going on. Look at those welds. Is it a stack of dimes? Not quite. Is it beautiful for a Chevette? Definitely. All this has a little nipple that goes in here, came in the box, for $180 to my door. It gets better though. Not only does all that, but it's 2 of these. What the hell is that? What's in the boxes, you ask? Cool. cooling fans. 2 of them. Mounting hardware goes through the cores, and we'll attach the fan just like that. Probably going to go with one up here and one down here, just for shits and giggles, I guess. I don't know. I've got options. I can go side by side high. I can go side by side low. I'll have to see what I think once it gets in the car. See what's going on. There's a couple things I can do. I don't know if the computer will control 2 fans separately. Something I need to look into. I don't know if I want it to. What I'm thinking of doing is drilling a hole. I guess it'd be on this side. Drilling a hole right here. You want to have it down a couple inches, but drill a hole here and have a sensor wired to a relay that kicks on a fan. Despite what most people will tell you, you don't want to hook up the fans to the engine sensors. I know the computers do that, the factory OEMs do that. It makes no sense. This is not cooling off the engine. This is cooling the radiator. The radiator cools the engine. If the engine's 200 degrees and the radiator is 50 degrees, why do you want this on? You don't. So, I may do that. I may just put the second one on a toggle switch. I might hook both of them up to come on at the same time with the computer. I don't know. I have options. Whatever I do, I'm going to have a toggle switch inside the car to bypass whatever it is I do. Bypass the computer, bypass a switch here. This was, I think it was $190 after tax to my door. Again, I'll have a link. This is awesome. Aluminum radiators generally cool better. Even though the aluminum has a reduced heat transfer rate versus the brass and copper, the advantage that this has is that aluminum is stronger. Those rows of tubes inside the radiator core, you can increase the size. It's stronger, so you can take more and you can cool more at once. So even though this has a reduced efficiency, you can cool more at a lower efficiency rate and end up cooling quicker. It's less efficient, but more efficient. Clear as mud, right? Moving on. So longtime followers, I know it hasn't been going for a long time, but you know what I'm saying. People who've been following the page and my channel, remember this. I was really psyched when I got these. Yes, they're just boring steel wheels. For those of you that don't know, don't remember, wasn't here, whatever, here's why I was so excited. It has the right lug pattern. It's off just a hair, but I don't care. Okay, it has the right lug pattern, 5 lug, 5 on 120 millimeter. The car is actually a 5 on 4.75, which is like, I think it's like 0.3 millimeter, 0.5 millimeter. It's so small, it doesn't matter. So I've got the old school bolt pattern for the old school rear end that's going in it. It has a modern day offset, very close to the front wheel drive offsets. In case you've never seen it, front wheel drive cars have the face of the wheel out here and you have all this room back here. Back in the old days, it was the other way around. Look at any old school car. You have deep dish rims like that bolt on here and stick out like that. You can't do that on a front wheel drive car. Also, modern rear wheel drive cars have more of a front wheel drive style offset. This is not quite as pronounced as a front wheel drive. It has more back spacing, which that would be from the wheel surface. This is the back side of the wheel. That would be measured from the back side of the wheel, the surface here, to the mounting surface. That would be your back spacing. So this has a deeper back spacing than a traditional rear wheel drive. Not quite as much as a front wheel drive. That's what I need on the Chevette. Again, I've eyeballed it. I've never been wrong eyeballing. I know it's not quite right. That's not how you're supposed to do it. But watch. We'll see. These are going to be damn near close. There may be a little bit of trimming, but whatever. It's going to be close enough. So I've got old school bolt pattern, new offset, and it's a 16-inch wheel. Everything I wanted. The only drawback to these is that they're steel and they're not lightweight, but they're not that heavy either. So I had 16s for the back. I wanted 15s. So I figured if this BMW wheel fits, maybe I can find a 15-inch BMW wheel. Guess what I found? 15-inch BMW wheel. You can see just from there that this is smaller. Now, why do I want small wheels up front? First of all, the old school hot rods, bigs and littles, bigs and back, smalls up front. I like that. Just looks sharp to me. I don't care about rotating tires. That just means I have 4 bald tires instead of 2. I also don't need the extra diameter to go around the brakes. I need it in the back, but I don't need it up front. The brakes that I'm going to put in here will fit behind a 15-inch wheel. So there's no point in having a larger diameter wheel that could cause problems in the front. I'm going to lower it a little bit, 1 inch, maybe 2. Some of it's going to be from the weight of the engine, but it's going to sit a little bit lower than stock. So again, why fill it up with tall wheels, with large diameter wheels? Don't need to. But they're ugly, right? Well, again, you've seen pictures of my car. You've seen video of my car. It's got moon discs on it right now. Right there is one of the 13-inch moon discs. I love moon eyes. I've always loved the discs ever since I was a kid and I saw them on a Mustang. 85, 86 Mustang. It was black and it had a burgundy and blue flame job. It was beautiful. Had T-tops too. And it had moon discs, and I thought they just looked so sharp. That's when I found out about them, started looking into it, and found out what they're all about. So I've loved them ever since. So with these, I've got 16 and 15-inch moon discs to go on my car. I called up that company, same company I got those from. Again, I'll post a link. I called them up and asked, I need a staggered set, 15s and 16s. They sent them to my door. I think it was $100. Again, I'll look into that. So here's the difference though. This one cleans up just as nice as those. These only have 50 miles on them, 100 miles on them. But look at the difference in size. These are going to look so much better, especially with the lower profile tires instead of this big, tall, ugly donut tires that are only this wide, but that tall. Tall by skinnies with small hubcaps, or short and wides with larger hubcaps. Let's not call them hubcaps, discs. So that is the plan for the wheels on this. Now all I got to do is get some tires and modify the car to make these fit. Now if I was only doing half of the brake job, I'd be getting close to being done. Now these rotors, again, they're not bad. There's a little bit of a lip here. They're not bad. But why shouldn't I change them? Do I need to say which ones are new and which ones are old? Those bottom ones are pretty thin compared to those. Oh yeah. So before you go assembling it, always spray down the rotors, new rotors, with some brake clean. On the back of the brake pads, I like doing the disc brake quiet. Never had any problems with the Napa brand. I believe it's actually made by Mac. This stuff is probably 10 years old. I've had it forever, obviously. Basically what it does is it glues the pad to the caliper so it can't vibrate and rattle and squeal. So the rotor was held on with screws. I hate these things. In order to get them off on this, I had to use an impact screwdriver. This is a neat tool. I never thought I'd need to use it on my own, but here we go, I needed it. Basically, one hand holds that on the screw, another hand smacks it with a hammer, and you're pushing in with the force of the hammer so it's not going to slip, and then it has a gear inside that turns the socket. It works awesome. Expensive. This is a snap-on set, but obviously well worth it when you need it. I already have the cap off of the master cylinder. Have to do that. So press in the brake piston, put the rotor on, put the bracket on after I lube it. I'm gonna pull this apart, wipe it all out, put some new brake grease in it. There we go. I love this stuff. So put it in there, Then replace these metal sliders. You can't really see it here, but it was little metal pieces. Put some more lube on them, and that's for the pads to slide in and out on. And then bolt it all back together. Feeling a little defeated, but I'm gonna keep on moving on. The front brake pads in that kit don't fit. They're way too big. I'll probably go to a picture of them right now. They're way too big. I'm gonna go ahead and continue with the brake job. I'm gonna go ahead and put the new rotor on the other side also, and contact the seller and see what they say about this. I'll definitely report back with whatever happens. Now I'm doing the back brakes, which are going smooth. And the brake pads are the right ones. And look at the difference of that. You need to inspect your brakes once in a while. The kid that changes your oil isn't going to do it. Even if you pay him to do it, he's not going to do it. This is proof. That's just for one single pot, regular old passenger vehicle, master cylinder. Never seen one cost that much for so little. And this is why a small garage sucks. This is the only way I can get in there and work on the back of the truck, is to have the front of it sticking out. Yeah, no chance of keeping it warm now. But anyways, I guess it'll help a little bit. So here's the deal. I need to take this liner out and the rug and the lights, which are already on the way out, and the tonneau cover. I need to take all that off. This truck is headed to the body shop. It got smacked a couple months ago on the freeway. It's pretty impressive, really. I'll post the pictures of the girl's car. She hit right there. You you can see it push the bumper in. There, you can see at this angle. See how this is bowed out right here? And then this right here, and that, and of course this. And a little bit of damage right here also. All that's gonna end up costing like $4,200, I think. They're gonna replace the entire bedside. So, the way I'm seeing it, if I take off the bed liner, the lights, the tonneau cover, that's gonna be an hour, 2 hours maybe, that they don't have to spend. That'll reduce the labor, right? In theory anyways. So that means I could have some money left over for the Chevette. So I'm done for today. Of course, just like always, things took a lot longer than expected. I did get everything taken care of on the truck. It's sitting out there without a bed liner, without lights, without a tonneau cover. And I decided I'm going to try and get some blue stickers for it. On the side where it says FX4, I'm going to see if I can't get some blue stickers for it. I already found them on eBay. So, I might just do that. Probably save some money and get some more Chevette money in the process. That's what it's all about, right? So, I get to do this all again here in a week or two. Like I said, they sent the wrong brake pads in the kit. And then, of course, I had to make another trip to the parts store. So I guess if this wasn't virtual shopping, that would be 3 trips to the parts store. The first trip to get all the parts, the second trip for the frozen caliper, and then the third trip for the front pads. I don't know if that'd be better or worse, because I had to put it back together with old pads. It's like taking a shower and putting on dirty underwear. Now I'm left with a mess. Yeah, I didn't get to change oil either. There is such a ramp of snow out this front door that when I had the car nosed in and I jack up the front wheels, which of course it's front wheel drive, so those are the wheels that are locked. As soon as I do that, it would start sliding in. So I set the parking brake. Same thing, it just comes skidding in. So no oil change. I'll just pay Walmart to do it or something. I mean, the reality is that oil and filter costs almost as much as having them do it. That was $20 worth on the cheap stuff, which the Walmart brand is decent oil, so it's not like I'm putting Fram oil filter on it or anything. I got one more project here. Toboggan. Actually, I'm done with this project. My wife found this. This thing is amazing. She found it on Facebook Marketplace. I think we paid 60 bucks for it. It's an 8-foot wooden toboggan. If you look at it, dude, this is vintage. When was the last time you saw flathead screws? And it's not just a replacement flathead screw. That is how this thing was assembled. Flathead screws all throughout. Boom, boom, boom. On top of that, you've got this rope right here. Okay, now look at this. That is held on with a leather strap. When was the last time you saw leather being used on anything other than boots and tennis shoes and the like? You know what I'm saying. That should be plastic or nylon or some kind of garbage. This sled, at the newest, this sled is from the 70s. Honestly, I think it's from the 50s. This thing's in great shape. Can't flip it over because my Mountain Dew and all my stuff sitting on it right now. But the underside is in real good shape. It's got some scratches. It's been used. It's not virgin. So I had to do a modification. This thing is a bitch to carry back up the hill. It's 8 feet long. So I had to put a pull rope on it so I can drag it back up. And I did not drill a new hole. This is the factory rope, which comes in, goes up, over, oh, watch out, there we go, over and down, oh, and then it comes across, then up through, over, back down. So this is all one rope. It starts here and ends there. Or does it start here and end there? Who knows? This thing is amazing. We waxed it, what, 3 weeks ago? And took it sledding, and I'm not joking. I ramped this thing about 8 or 9 feet with my 230, 240 pound self on there. Got it on video. Well, I've got evidence on video. We didn't actually see me get air. It's pretty cool. So that's it for now. I don't know. I'm hoping that next week might be in there. I hope so. Unfortunately, I'll probably be in here doing brakes, but that'll just be a quickie with just pads. So then I can get back in there. And I think I figured out what's wrong with my stick welder. We'll see. Take it easy.